We're ready.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
the Trump administration and the ruling class that we will not despair, that we will take action against their heinous crimes. We have mobilized from all across the country. We have people here from Southwest Ohio, from Nevada, from Boston, from Rhode Island, from upstate New York. We have people from all across the country here today. So we are going to hear from some amazing organizers who have been out in the streets for the past 2 years and even beyond that. Our first speaker today will be Miriam from the Palestinian Youth Movement.
We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Stop starving Gaza now! Stop starving Gaza now! We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Lift the siege on Gaza now! Lift the siege on Gaza now! Stop starving Gaza now! Stop starving Gaza now! Lift the siege on Gaza now! Lift the siege on Gaza now! How's everyone doing today? In Gaza, right now, there's over 18,000 children who have reached the final stage of a U.S.-Israeli manufactured famine. What this means is that if the siege and the war do not end immediately, that's over 18,000 children who we may see die before our eyes. Is this the kind of world we want to live in? No! Are we going to do everything we can to stop this? Yes, we will. Because right now, children in Gaza, they don't have regular dreams like children here. They're not thinking about what they're going to be when they grow up. Children in Gaza are dreaming about things like a meal of chicken and rice, of chicken. They're dreaming about things like hearing their dead mother speak to them again. This is the criminality of Zionism. This is Zionism. Zionism is a war on children. It's a war on the truth, on humanity, on journalists. Zionism is a horror, it's genocide, and it has to be stopped. And Zionism, no matter what they say, is a completely irredeemable project. What we read about in the news right now, in the last couple of weeks, there's these debates happening within the Israeli government, within the Zionist government. They're not debating whether or not to end the war, or whether or not there should be a ceasefire. They're debating how to most efficiently carry out a genocide. One side says, just let them starve to death. And the other side, the side that just won out, says, no, we should invade Gaza. We should displace or kill the 800,000 people in Gaza City right now. We should take it over and we should level it to the ground. So this is Zionism. This is what our government is supporting, and what for the last 23 months, for the last 77 years, has been a terror on the Palestinian people. So we have to be clear. Washington, D.C., not anywhere in this country. So when our politicians, when they go to trips to Israel, when they chant, they proudly call themselves Zionists, when they take AIPAC money, and when they vote consistently to fund a genocide, our role is to be clear with them. There is no place for Zionist politicians in this country. War criminals are unfit for office. It's a simple truth. War criminals are unfit for office. And our role is to hold them accountable. We will not stop until every Zionist is held accountable. We will not stop. We will not stop until every child in Gaza can go to sleep with a full belly in their own bed on their own free land. So let's be clear for one last time. We will not stop until all of Palestine is free from the river to the sea. Our next speaker is Eugene from the Party of Socialism and Liberation. A party that for months has organized the people of America to resist. It has brought people like us together in a march.
His Majesty's government in the UK that is funding and assisting and greenlighting this genocide. The President and the government of France that have been greenlighting and funding this genocide. Many have been struggling for over 100 years, and this current genocide is just enough to control the Arab people on behalf of the Europeans, and that must end now. The killing and the bombing is so bad we don't even know how many have been killed. We hear 60,000, we know it's more than that. Over 150,000 have been injured. It doesn't matter whether you're an infant or a senior citizen, whether you're a doctor or whether you're a waiter. The Israelis have turned Gaza into a slaughterhouse. They are killing everyone they can, and they're doing it on purpose. They're using AI algorithms. They're using starvation. They're using the most brutal methods. But when we look at this aptly named event, a March for Humanity, because we know this is a manifest inhumanity being done to the government. A system where a small number of people in a handful of countries get together to control our immigration is imperialism. It's the capitalist The steadfastness of the Palestinian people is the rock upon which the movement against imperialism. We are seeing all across this globe tremendous masses of people rise up continually over 2 years in manifest different ways to bring Israel's popularity to the lowest ever it's been. I think they're more scared in Tel Aviv than they've ever been in the entirety of the Zionist project, because they know that people like you who are gathered with us today can bring that system down. So as we march today, as we march for humanity, and let's keep saying that, as we march for humanity, this is an unjust, inhumane thing that is being done. As we march for humanity, we're marching against genocide, yes. We are marching against starvation, yes. We are marching for the Palestinian people, not just in Gaza, but across all of the occupied territories for their land to come back. But we are also marching against the unjust and illegal wars and occupations being waged by imperialists everywhere. In Sudan, they're talking about Gaza. In Congo, they're talking about Gaza. In Gaza, they're talking about Sudan. The people of Gaza understand the internationalization of this struggle. We're marching against hunger. We're marching against poverty. We're marching against all the injustices that have the same people doing them. The people who want people to be starving on the side of the street with no place to live in New York City are the same people who are funding and facilitating the genocide of Gaza. So all I want to end with is, on behalf of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, we're honored to stand shoulder next to you, shoulder by shoulder, next to every single one of you here. Whatever we agree on, whatever we differ on, we're here for Palestine, we're here with Gaza, we're here for humanity, we're marching for humanity.
Repeat after me. The more they try to silence us, had a plan. They thought that if they arrested our student leaders, our organizers, that our movement would die. But did we stop organizing? Did we stop protesting? No, we kept building and we kept organizing. And one of our leaders, who was the target of the Trump administration, the one we fought for to release all of the students, he is here with us. I am honored to introduce Mahmud Khalil.
Later, as we are witnessing the genocide playing out on our screen.
Are you guys live streaming or just filming? Okay.
In what world is this normal? In what world is the starvation of an entire population is normal? In what world is the killing and maiming of tens and hundreds of thousands of Palestinians is normal? In what world pulling out families out of rubble is normal? In what world is bombing hospitals into dust while patients bleed on the floor normal? And yet, Israel insists it is normal. And the world has followed. Palestinian death has been sanitized into numbers. Our suffering packaged into statistics. We should not be begging for the basic rights of our people, to be alive, to be allowed food, but we are. We are because the whole world has failed Gaza and Palestine. The whole world has failed us. I carry heavy words that should never have been written. The words of Anas al-Sharif, the 28 years old, writing what he knew might be his last words, not because of illness, but because Israel marked him for death, for the crime of documenting their war crimes. Anas said, and I quote, "Don't let chains silence you. No. Don't let borders restrain you. Be bridges toward liberation until the sun of dignity and freedom rises over our stolen homeland." These were not the words of a broken man. They were the words of a Palestinian who knew his people's struggle was larger than himself, who knew his camera was part of the fight for liberation, the Palestinian liberation. Just last week, a friend of mine was called with his colleague trapped in Gaza. Both of them knew Anas personally. Both of them mourned Anas. And as bombs echoed in the background of that call, that colleague in Gaza said something I will never forget. He said, "I resign myself to Allah's will. I will continue reporting. They will never silence me. They will never silence us. They will never succeed in silencing us. But Israel is trying, systematically, deliberately, and they are doing it with American bombs, with American cover, with American tax money, with UN money. They want us to think that our voices are useless. They want us to just give up. But trust me, we are shattering their complacency. Israel's problem is the very existence of Palestinians. It's the very existence of us. And we're not silent. That's right. We're not going anywhere. And I want to say it together, to say it loud so the whole world can hear us. Free, free Palestine! 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 Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Every person here has a choice. Stay quiet and normalize our killings, or rise and demand liberation. The son of dignity and freedom that Anas spoke of, it rises only if we refuse to let another Palestinian die in darkness while the world looks away. Anas lives on through his words, and if we carry them forward, not only in grief, not only in speeches, but in our actions, then we can ensure no other young Palestinian will be forced to write their final testament just for telling the truth. The time is now. The time is now. The bridges towards liberation start with us. Let's build them. Thank you.
While the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, this sham of an aid plan, is used to martyr the people of Gaza, there are already organizations that are working tirelessly on the ground that have successfully used what they can to continue mass aid operations. So around the crowd, we have boxes, we have people going around with donation boxes, and I urge you to donate to Mecca, the Middle East Children's Alliance that has worked tirelessly, whose employees that live in Gaza have worked to strengthen the people's steadfastness on the ground. But we know, despite these tireless efforts, the U.S. and Israel have forced a famine on the people of Gaza. A famine that a majority of people, anyone who stands on 2 feet, is against. A famine that we all are here marching to break. A siege that we are marching to break in order to stand with humanity. And people like the next speaker that I will introduce, someone who is a founder of the Amazon Labor Union here in the U.S. Someone who has put their body on the line to break the siege. Someone who was specifically targeted by the Zionist Israeli terrorist forces for attempting to break the siege, for attempting to uphold humanitarian law, for attempting to get food into Gaza. Someone who was on the Freedom Flotilla, who I'm honored to introduce as
I'm so humble and grateful and blessed to come home to this community. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all who shared my story, who shared the story of the 21 volunteers on the umbrella who kept all eyes on us, who kept us safe from the IOM and their authorities in Israel. Thank you. For those who don't know, 2 weeks ago I was in prison in Israel. 2 weeks ago I was on a hunger strike. 2 weeks ago I was assaulted by the Israel immigration authorities. I was the only black passenger on the Honda. It's no coincidence that I was one of the last to be released from prison. All my comrades who were locked up with me, 14 of us, 12 of them were taken directly to Tel Aviv and deported directly to their countries. When me and my Arab brother Hassan from Tunis, we were the only two, once again people of color, who were dropped off at the border of Jordan. Besides my brutal assault They try to psychologically break us down. Every day, the warden or the raid unit will come into the cell, make us strip naked for no reason, make us get dressed for no reason, lying to us saying we're going home, knowing we're not. They would sit food in front of us knowing we wasn't going to eat. They was giving us contaminated water. Most importantly, they were isolating us from what is really behind the curtains. That system, that prison system in Israel is full of Ethiopians. And they didn't want us to see that. Not only that, everything that I experienced as a black man is only a fraction of what Palestinians are going through every day. I repeat, everything from the 7 authorities throwing me to the ground, putting their knee in my back, putting both arms behind my back, lifting me up, pulling my hair and choking me with my chains. And throwing me to the floor multiple times, separating me from the crew, threw me up against the wall. And the only thing I could think in my head was, man, 1v1 me, bro. But I'm telling you, the frustration and the anger that I had, I wanted to crash out, but I knew I could jeopardize my crew. But let me tell y'all what I did do though. I faced the most deadliest, ruthless killing machine in the world face to face, the IOF. I didn't go all the way out there to be silent. I'm from New York too, so I gave him a little piece of my mouth. Let me tell y'all what I said to them. Without some guns, without some weapons, you ain't shit. And I pointed at one of them, and I said, especially you. Without them guns, without them weapons, y'all ain't shit. And I dare one of y'all to say something, because I'll pay for this shit as an American taxpayer dollar. Now let me get to American taxpaying dollars. We all need to be outraged at where our money is going. Less than 2 years, 500,000 people are gone, dead, forever. And you know what? Those numbers are not even the real numbers. There's so much death in Gaza right now that 100 miles away from shore, our boat was swarmed by flies. That's how much death is over there. They don't want us to see what's really going on. And I want to point and connect the dots so people ask me this question. Why, as an American labor leader, did you go out there? You know why? Because some of these labor unions are fucking complicit too. And they're more than that. They are participating actively by shipping arms and manufacturing weapons to Israel. So I want to ask y'all for one thing. And it don't have to be soon. But I just want y'all to pay attention. Because we know who these people are. We can name them all day. We know who these unions are. Guess what? The ILA, the Longshoremen Association, right over the bridge in Jersey. The AFL-CIO, their office is in D.C., right across the street from the White House. So what I'm asking everyone here today, and I'm going to reach out to organizations in D.C. as well, we need a national day of action against these two major unions right now. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh see y'all in Detroit in 2 weeks.
All right.
Do me a favor, y'all. For the children of Gaza, for my passenger, my crew, can y'all sing this song for me and repeat after me? Everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! People wanna know! People wanna know! Who we are! Who we are! So we tell them! So we tell them! We are Honduras! We are Honduras! The mighty, mighty Honduras! The mighty, mighty Honduras! Going to Gaza! Going to Gaza! Feed the children! Feed the children! Come everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! People wanna know! People wanna know! Who we are! Who we are! So we tell them! So we tell them! We are Honduras! We are Honduras! The mighty, mighty Honduras! The mighty, mighty Honduras! Going to Gaza! Going to Gaza! Break the siege! Break the siege! I love y'all. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have someone from the Answer Coalition, a coalition that has worked for the past decades to end the U.S.'s forever wars on the Middle East, a coalition that has stood by us on the streets for the entirety of the genocide. I'm honored to introduce Brian Becker from the Answer Coalition.
Sisters and brothers, there is an announcement that was just issued by the State Department that starting today, the United States government will refuse to issue any visa for wounded children in Gaza. You really have to wrap your head around what that means. Why would the U.S. government refuse visas to wounded children in Gaza? It's because the Trump administration now believes that if they can make the life of Gazans, the life of the Palestinian people, so horrendous, so insufferable, so catastrophic, that the people will have no choice but to leave. And we're here today to send a very, very important message to the people of Gaza. The U.S. government is standing with the fascist regime in Tel Aviv, but we, the American people, stand with you, with the Palestinian people. There is no power, nothing more powerful than international solidarity, where we can see that people in Latin America and Asia and Africa and the Middle East are standing together because we have a single solitary enemy. They live on Wall Street, they're in the White House, they're in the center of imperialism. People said to us 7 or 8 days ago when we called this demonstration that people are too tired to come out one more time. And we said, we can never entertain that kind of language when we see the Palestinian people are so steadfast and so resilient. We will not stop. We will keep marching. We will keep demanding divestment. We will keep mobilizing. If you are willing to make that commitment, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Free Palestine. We can win, sisters and brothers, by staying as strong, as militant, and as steadfast as our sisters and brothers in Gaza. Thank you very much.
Slaughter! U.S. Israel, stop the slaughter! Gaza needs food and water! Gaza needs food and water! U.S. Israel, stop the slaughter! U.S. Israel, stop the slaughter! Gaza needs food and water! Gaza needs food and water! Our next speaker is from American Muslims for Palestine, an organization that since 2006...
Thousands of names of Palestinians who were slaughtered by the genocidal. 2 million people are being starved to death in every manufacturing. Consent for genocide for the past 2 years, and more than that. This is a message to our crooked politicians and ambassadors and representatives on both sides of the aisle that think they made an oath to defend Israel instead of their constitution and their constituents. From the beginning, this government and the media have known that this was a genocide, but they feared that it meant for Israel, they feared what it meant for Israel if the world acknowledged what it was doing despite seeing it in the palm of their hands. They fear the consequences not only for themselves, but the Zionist terrorist entity. But now that it seems that there are no consequences for committing genocide, they're coming out and sharing stories about Gaza. In other words, now that it's clear that Israel and they themselves won't be held accountable for these crimes, it's become easy to acknowledge that they are war crimes. And I need you to know, every single media outlet that is here, or that is hearing this, that each and every single one of you has blood on your hands. Every child, mother, father that was murdered by Israel, you must know that this was directly caused by the money that Congress voted to send. It was directly caused by every article that painted Israel as anything other than a terrorist state. It was caused by every news outlet that fed into the propaganda machine of the Zionist entity. So now my message to all of you here in presence, in solidarity. While we're here marching, fighting for Gaza, we cannot stay silent about our sisters and brothers in Sudan, Congo, Haiti. The videos that are coming out of Sudan and Congo are the exact same videos we are seeing in Gaza today. Our movements, and this is not okay, and we cannot accept it as the reality. Our movements are nothing without each other, and it is time that we stand up. And I don't mean what we've been doing for the past 2 years, what we've been doing so far. Gaza needs more than this from us. Our people need more than this from us. I need you to stay angry. I need you to keep your energy. Together we need to stand up stronger than before. We refuse to be complicit. We refuse to stand by. We refuse to go back to the way that things were. And when it comes to the consequences and accountability for the media, for Congress, and every business and corporation complicit, we will be the ones to make sure that they are held to it. We will be the ones to make sure they are held accountable. I want you all to repeat after me for a quick chant. I believe that we will win. 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 rehabilitated, traumatized, and dragged to a slow death by disease and famine. They endure torture of their bodies and slander of their identity, character, and history. Yet through this living hell, they continue to march towards freedom. We in America must learn from the Palestinians in Gaza. Look at their courage. Look how when faced with torture, mutilation, annihilation, they increase rather than diminish their aspirations. We cannot sit complicitly, grow gradually, build quietly as our brothers and sisters are erased. They are us, our fates are time, and we are bound by their chains and freed by their freedom. With the urgency of immediate extinction, we Americans must shake ourselves out of our political slumber and seize all resources at our disposal. We must drive our own nations towards the mutual liberation of Palestine and America, for we will not allow ourselves to be consumed by rulers. We will not be ruled. We are here. We exist. We are alive, and we will continue to sing. Sing for Palestine. Sing, free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Next up, we have a student organizer who has faced repression for standing with Palestine. President of the Student Workers of Columbia, UAW, 2710 Grant Island.
My speech. Let's go. My name is Grant Miner. I'm the president of the Student Workers of Columbia, and I just want to tell you that the student movement, the labor movement, will not be cowed by the repression that is being visited upon us by the Trump administration, the capitalists, are all banding together against workers, against immigrants, against every single marginalized person in this country to try to crush not just our movement, but all movements who are trying to benefit humanity. Come on, I've heard from people that they're starving children in Gaza. We are a diverse movement. We are the people that stand for life. We struggle to put food in the mouths of children. They struggle to starve them, and we will not let them do that. All right, I've got 30 seconds, so I'm just going to close it with a chant. When I say worker, you say power. Worker! Power! Worker! Power! Worker! Power! Thank you very much. Thank you, friends. Let's do a quick check. New York Times, you can't hide. New York Times, you can't hide. You write much for genocide. 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 So our next speaker is from Writers Against the War on Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be quick. Last Sunday night, while the people of Gaza tried to sleep, the Zionist occupation assassinated Al Jazeera reporter Anas al-Sharif alongside Israel's weapons stopped his heartbeat. There was a collaboration between Israel and the mainstream media of the West that killed him. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, CNN, MSNBC, BBC, The Atlantic have made themselves bullhorns for Israel's propaganda machine. Continuing to ignore the targeted killing of journalists, have weaponized language to absolve Israel of its crimes. They are all co-conspirators. The blood on their hands can be seen from thousands of miles away, and it will stain forever. Gaza is being starved, maimed, disposed of. These are the facts. Yet the most powerful media outlets refuse to acknowledge who is responsible for this genocide. It's as if the famine is a natural occurrence, as if Gaza has self-maimed, as if it is Gaza that is destroying itself. They call it a humanitarian crisis. They say Gaza is hungry. But we know the true story. We know about Israel's starvation campaign because of brave journalists in Gaza that have revealed it. Anas has revealed it to us. He spent the last hour of his life reporting on Israel's relentless bloodthirst. Even as danger grew closer and closer, he continued to model survival for all of us. Israel is the murderer, but Anas is the victor. Israel can kill a reporter, but it cannot kill the story. ones who paved the way with words. We will challenge every craven institution that twists language to justify Israel's atrocities. Every editor who sees the violence of colonial occupation and writes about it as if it were a force of nature. We will fight for every Palestinian who continues to defy occupation and genocide, whether he takes up arms or carries a camera and a microphone. Glory to Allah! Glory to every martyr! Free Palestine!
Protesting today. But I want to quickly say a few words about all of us gathered here today. Every single person here who has made their way from across New York City and across the country, the people who rode the bus, the people who drove, the people who took trains or planes, every single one of you has made the decision to stand on the right side of history. We are not a small movement. We are a movement that represents every kind of person across the world and every sector of society. Look around you today and you will see a children's contingent marching for the children of Gaza. Look around you today and you will see a journalist contingent marching for their colleagues who are being assassinated in Gaza. You will see a contingent of artists, a contingent of Jewish people, a contingent of faith leaders, a contingent of students. You will see every sector of society represented here. And what does that tell us? That tells us that the genocidal war machine that is being run by those who are sitting in the White House and sitting in Tel Aviv. That the genocidal war machine is attempting to break the spirit of the Palestinian people and break the spirit of the movement in solidarity with Palestine, and they have failed. For every child, for every family, for every brother, sister, father, mother who has been brutally killed in Gaza, we have hundreds more to march in the streets in their honor. That's right. So know that your actions today are so important because above all else, we are sending a message to the world that the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine are not alone. That's right.
Is from Jewish Voices for Peace. Please welcome Pam.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Pam Thorne. I'm from the Bronx. And I'm Jewish Voice for Peace. And we stand here in struggle, not only in solidarity, we stand in struggle with everybody here, with our siblings here. We stand in a strong and powerful tradition of left-wing anti-Zionist Jews. That's right. As much as the Schumers and the Denoises make it seem like we are outliers, we're here to tell them they are liars. When I first got involved with Jewish Voice for Peace about 12 years ago, there were maybe 20 of us in someone's apartment. Now we have thousands of members New York City and across this country. We're growing because we don't believe in ethno-nationalism. We don't believe in apartheid state. So we say, not in our name, that's what we mean. And let me get personal just for a minute. But I have two little grandbabies up there in the Bronx. One is 22 months old and one is 4 months old. And as long as my little baby Nina has been alive, I've been in the streets against this genocide. And when I look at little Nasir, who's plump, he's in the 95th percentile in size and weight. And when I look at him so happy and healthy, I think about the children being starved in Gaza. And so for not in our name, it's very personal. And I'll finish with that. We have to stay out here. Thank you. All right. Our movement does not end here. We are going to continue to struggle and we are going to continue to take direction from the people of Gaza who are leading us on the path of justice. So I want everyone, if you're not already registered, to register for the People's Conference in the Palestine Academy and the Zionist.
But not all of us were there, so I took a bunch to give them out.
Instagram, and we want to see you there. We want to continue to be a photo together as concept. And next up, we have this Abunusa from Alba. There's nothing more that I can add to what this beautiful comrade said. But I will give you a message from a doctor, Dr. Eugene in Gaza. I am writing this from the grave. Do not look for me. There is no body, only dust and the smell of what was once bread. We spoke, oh how we spoke, with the tongues of the children choking on smoke, with the tongues of old men whose names turned to ash before their afternoon tea cooled, with the tongues of mothers who gave birth beside mass graves and then laid their newborns inside them. We spoke with our blood, with our silence, with our madness. But the world did not hear. The world, my friend, is deaf to the human soul, unless that soul bleeds gold. They bombed us in the name of defense. They starved us in the name of security. They erased us with such calm, you would think it was an administrative procedure. And now they speak of expanding the operations, of occupying Gaza fully, not as a choice, but as a plan.
Let's give it up with Malala. Who's ready to move? Who's ready to move? And we are going to head towards
Audio test, test, test. Can you hear us?
Testing, can you hear us? We are live here. We're getting ready to march. Okay, we're out here. We're at the front of the march here at the Stop Starving Gaza rally. We're getting ready to march. Everyone here, I mean, there are thousands of people. It wasn't easy quite to see. I know we got some really great shots earlier showing how many people are at this action, but we're really here to fill the streets of New York. I think that the speeches that we heard from, incredibly powerful. We have some amazing contingents that we're going to see here today to speak with. There really is so much energy in this crowd of people who really want to come out and be heard. I mean, if we look even right behind us on the other side of the street, we have another Palestine flag. It seems like everywhere we look, we have people who are out here to say, stop starving Gaza. So it's a really, really powerful day, and I think that we are going to see and hear from many different people in these contingents today about all their unique contributions. I know there is a journalist contingent here of journalists who are outraged at the killing of the four Al Jazeera journalists in the last week or so. So it really is activating the movement in a new way. It's important, I think, in this moment especially, to have people come out into the streets, because the situation in Gaza, as many of our program has already spoken to, it is dire. I mean, last month alone in July, 5,000 children were actually put into outpatient services with hospitals for starvation alone, 18% of them being very severely malnutritioned. I mean, those are the numbers from the WHO. That's what we know. I mean, that's what's being reported from the WHO, so we know those numbers are significantly larger. I think what Chris Smalls in his speech said earlier really stuck with me, that as the flotilla, the Freedom Flotilla that he was on, approached the shore, that there was so much death, that there were flies just like approaching the boat. I mean, that visual stuck with me, because I think it speaks volumes about the situation. So I think with the seriousness of what's going on in Gaza and the kind of outpouring of support today, I feel very, very, very energized to see so many people choose to stand up and fight. I think Mahmud Khalil's speech earlier also spoke to this, that right now is not the time for demoralization. I think clearly the people that are here with us are not struggling with that. So there really is so much to see. I want you guys to see just how many people are here. I mean, even the New York City street can't quite, it's condensing everybody a bit. I still see there are people who haven't even moved from the library location that we were just at. So even with this level of movement, we haven't gone very far. So really incredible. I mean, if we look at the visuals here too, we can see that the journalists are all shown here on these paintings. Really powerful, really important. So I think we're pausing to let people continue to come. So I want us to get some good visuals of the crowd and really get a sense of what today is about. Like I said, this action, it's because of the starvation, the situation, the seriousness of what's going on. I know the other day on Breakthrough News, we just published out of Dallas, Texas, there were 30 American doctors who returned. They returned in a contingent, some of them more recently, some of them not as recently. So basically, this doctor really shared about it's a humanitarian collapse, like absolutely a collapse on every level. So I think that it's an important interview to check out. We'll talk more about it, but I want you to see the kind of powerful imagery that's here today. It's really, really incredible. I think that if we catch some of the kind of overlapping solidarity we see here, I think there's a Native woman here, or really dressed up and showing out the solidarity. I think Chris Small's solidarity he was talking about as a black man earlier was very, very, very powerful. Israel. I think all of today is going to be the kind of energy that I know that we need right here, right now in the U.S. to revitalize this movement that's been going on for years. I mean, since October 7th, we've seen people on and off in the streets, hundreds of thousands in D.C., tens of thousands in the streets throughout different months and different lulls. But today, as a regional action, there are several other actionings happening all across the U.S. today, not just this one. So it really has been, I think, an important showing to revitalize and bring out the energy of the movement in Palestine. So definitely think that today is going to be really, really important and powerful. So to share more about what I was saying earlier about these doctors who have returned, the contingent, one of the doctors shared in the interview, highly recommend to go check it out. It's on our Instagram at BT Newsroom, on our YouTube Shorts. You can see it also on Twitter at BT Newsroom across the board. He shared about the situation, how bad it really is. I mean, the hospitals in Gaza. So not only are people suffering under this siege, under this famine, but they're easily preventable because the sterilization situations are just so bad. I mean, he also the lack of access, the extreme lack of access to any sort of formula, which really stuck with me. Right now, the WHO also says that 40% of breastfeeding mothers are suffering from extreme malnutrition. So when we're talking about the U.S. and Israel are manufacturing a genocide, this is what we mean. If women can't feed their babies, and you can't purchase formula because it's $105, and that's what you can get. I mean, the doctor was sharing that even if you're a millionaire, you can't get this formula. You can't get access to it. It's absolutely almost impossible because the aid is not coming in. If that is the situation, then I think we need to be very clear that this is a genocide. This late in the game, there really is no argument. It is very apparent what Israel and what Israel and what the United States are doing to the Palestinian people. So I want to go back to the crowd here. I think there really is some movement happening. People are starting to flood into the streets. It really is an incredible moment. I mean, we see some people with baby strollers too, which is, I think, really powerful. Bringing mothers coming out, talking, with having their kids with them. Really important moments. So let's listen to the crowd for a minute. So we're going to be joined now by, of course, someone you know very well, Eugene, host of the Freedom Side, had an incredible speech earlier today. Just so important to be out here, Eugene. The crowd, the energy, it's really bringing me back.
It has led such a worldwide movement to emerge represents by cynicism, saying we're going to come out and we're going to raise our voices because we don't want this genocide done in our name.
Definitely, Eugene. I know that you're marching as part of the journalist contingent. Can you share more about the journalist contingent? Who's here? What does it represent? And why this moment now?
Well, there's journalists from all over the country, from all sorts of different outlets who've been organized by many different organizations and individuals, including Writers Against the War on Gaza and others who have been producing journalism in mainstream outlets and alternative outlets on their own social media. And the reason that people wanted to raise their voice as journalists is because over 250, I believe, journalists have been murdered. And I want to also mention, of course, our breakthrough colleague, Wafa Al-Udaini, who was killed last year by an Israeli airstrike along with her entire family. And I think there are so many journalists who can say that they have not only witnessed the wholesale, deliberate murdering of journalists to cover up the crimes of genocide, but that they've actually worked and interacted with some of these journalists. So this is really a contingent that is decrying the war on information, the war on knowledge, the war that is being perpetuated against those who have shown the world the immensity of the Israeli crimes.
Yeah, I really appreciate you mentioning Wafa. I mean, her work, I've worked with her for years, and reporting behind the walls of Gaza, she's never been able to leave. And it's just one of those things that I think that the more journalists are attacked, the more we lose those voices from the ground in Gaza who are actually reporting on exactly what's going on. So it's really important to save our journalists and to recognize the loss. I mean, another one of our colleagues, Ruwaida Amir, I really recommend a piece that she put out about being one of 80 lost colleagues. It's just her in a room alone as a journalist as she still plugs forward. So I just think I'm really moved to see journalists come out, to sign on, to really recognize now it's time to take to the streets if they haven't already been. So Eugene, with our time left, anything else you would like to share with our audience today?
You know, I think the only thing I would like to share is I think that the importance of people continuing to share what's happening is immense. And I think people need to continue to lift their voices. That's just my personal opinion. You know, as my editorial comment, perhaps, that, you know, this is a time that will be defining for this century. And I think we want to be able to say that when it was most important, we were willing to raise our voices and say, not in our name.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Eugene. Always a great time. Always a great time to hear from Eugene's thoughts and perspectives. So yeah, we're going to definitely try to pull some more people from this journalist contingent. I think that it's a really important thing for journalists to be mobilizing right now. Like Eugene said, the stats are different. I mean, I've read all different reports on how many have died. If you're including media workers, it's actually 270, including other media workers. And a couple of journalists in Lebanon have also been killed by Israel. 2024 was actually the deadliest year on record. Deadliest year on record for journalists. So I think that now more than ever, we need to talk about the risk to journalists who are just speaking up and telling the truth. And this is targeted by Israel. Israel and the United States, they want to stop the flow of information. They want to make sure that we here in the United States are no longer getting visions from the ground, that the war crimes are not documented, but the war crimes are happening. They're happening every single day. And so that is absolutely why it's vital and important for the journalists who are left that we continue to watch their work, to view their work, to hear their words, and to really honor what it is that they are trying to capture. I mean, I relate to it very deeply. You know, I know early in the genocide, there have been many journalists that I've talked to that, you know, as a person, when things happen as a journalist, you just kind of rush in and you deal with it. And journalists, much like other professions, are first responders. So, you know, many of the journalists in Gaza, you know, what they were doing was what they knew. And I think that it's a heroic and incredible sacrifice to be able to report from the front lines of war in your own home, to make sure that your story and the story of your people is not lost. So honor to all of those journalists who have been lost and all that we will continue to lose. So I want to go back to see some of the crowd here. I think that, you know, as we're starting to move along, we're getting good pacing, and more people are really starting to get into it. Love the banging pots and the energy, really revitalizing. I think we can see Mahmud Khalil marching right here in the front by the banner. All of him and Grant Minor, really inspiring the students of Columbia and their struggle and all that they have fought for. You know, we put out a documentary, The Encampments. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. We didn't know when we made the documentary, of course, how historical events would unfold. But of course, nonetheless, I really recommend seeing it to get an understanding of what the situation in the spring of 2024 was like. But we really got to commend these students for their heroic sacrifices as well, what they have stood up for. And the fact that Mahmoud is marching with us today says everything about the power of what happens when people protest, when people march, when people stand up. So definitely want to get you guys to see this energy here. beautiful shot here, really showing the size of this demonstration. We've got a lot of people in the streets making their voice known. Maybe go back to shotgun, fuck it.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's going back to shotgun, it's fine.
And it's still going in and out? Is it the cable?
It may be her headphones.
Okay, let's check the comments.
But they go there like...
Audio problems.
I think it's going up.
You should get going.
down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Okay, so we are back. We got a chance. We wanted to get a big bird's eye view. When we stopped standing up, we also saw that there was so many people. I mean, like 6 or 7 more blocks before we decided to come back up here in the journalist contingent. But I'm happy to be joined now by Zoe Pepper Cunningham from People's Dispatch, an incredible outlet that does great work. Zoe, always love to read everything People's Dispatch is putting out. So I wanted you to share more about this journalist contingent. Why here, why now, and more about the journalists who signed on to the letters of support.
Yeah, it's really amazing. We have a huge contingent of journalists and media workers who are coming out here to say we will not stand for our colleagues in Gaza to be murdered. We will not stand for Israel targeting journalists, accusing them of crimes simply for telling the truth. And it's really beautiful. We have a huge contingent. We have portraits of the martyred journalists. We have a press vest to show that actually freedom of press means not killing journalists. Freedom of press means not killing journalists during a genocide when they're telling the stories of their own families being murdered, when they're telling the stories of them not even being able to get food. So we have to be as brave as the journalists in Gaza, as brave as the Palestinian journalists who dare to tell the truth, and that's why we're out here today.
Excellent. That's really, really powerful, Zoe. I really love the press vest. I think that's really an important touch. You know, we were talking earlier with Eugene about the fact that 270 journalists and media workers have been killed by Israel. 2024 was the deadliest year on record for journalists. I mean, I want your thoughts a little bit about the current situation of danger as a journalist and what it means for journalists all around the world and why we should be paying attention.
I think we have to understand that as long as journalists in Palestine are being killed, press freedom doesn't exist for anyone. The fact that they go out there every single day to do their jobs and then get targeted and get hit with airstrikes, none of the journalists can sit and stand by while that happens. We're lucky enough to be here right now, being able to tell the story of what's happening on the streets, being able to share and amplify the stories of what's happening in Gaza, and we have to keep doing that until no journalists are killed for doing their profession, until no journalists are starved to death, until their entire family has been killed. That's press freedom. It's not some, liberal idea that, but you have to actually stand for it right now.
Absolutely. And my final question for you, too, is, the killing of the recent 4 journalists, the Al Jazeera journalists who died, which kind of, I think, reinvigorated a lot of journalists around the world to sign on to these letters, to start getting involved in the 4 journalists.
And so it's really, heartbreaking for people around the world. And I think the fact that the freedom of press and the sanctity of journalists has been violated in this way is a sin to be violated in this war. To be violated in this war, international humanity.
From People's Dispatch, I mean, absolutely, to pick up where she had left off right there, I think that it's absolutely true. We cannot allow any intimidation of journalists. We cannot allow these kinds of murders. We cannot stand for them because at the end of the day, like I have said earlier and many other journalists have spoken to earlier, when journalists are targeted, we lose the war crimes. We lose the history, the documentation, the bearing of witness, right? We have to bear witness to what television screams, napalm children. They saw these famous images and video clips of war in a way no one has ever seen before. And it took journalists on the ground, photographers, videographers, to risk their lives to get those shots. So I just think that everything we know about what happened in the Vietnam War, so much of it was because of the sacrifice of journalists. And many of them on the Vietnamese side were activists too. They weren't just journalists, they were also fighting in the war. So I just am reminded of that in this moment, of the heroism of today, the live stream genocide, the first live stream social media war of this scale. That is what's going on in Palestine. And so we've seen so many people rise to the occasion, and it's really important that we continue to recognize what's going on in Palestine, the famine, the genocide, all that. But I want you to get a chance to see some of the incredible crowd shots that are happening here. We're having now moving through the different contingents. There are 3 different contingents. We just kind of moved through the journalist contingent. There is now the children's contingent, which I think you might be able to see some signs of children being held up about the children who have been killed in Palestine. I see a couple of parents who we want to interview also to hear from parents during this genocide. This is a really, really, really powerful contingent because we recognize how important it is for us to recognize what's going on to the children in Palestine. So thank you for being willing to interview. We're talking right now about the children's contingent, that you're marching the children's contingent. As a parent, what is it like for you to see what's going on in Palestine, and what's your message to other parents in the United States?
I think the message is to make sure that your kids know about the history growing up. The Zionists have tried to control the media, have tried to control the narrative, but the times are changing, and we're showing them that the truth is that this didn't start on October 7th. This started back in 1948, and even before that, during the Balfour Declaration. And the reason why we bring our kids out is to keep them tied into their cause, to keep them tied into their roots. I'm Palestinian. My family, made sure that growing up I was close to the cause and I kept it close and dear to my heart. And I'm even here representing my cousin, Amir Rabia. He's a 14-year-old Palestinian American from Saddlebrook, New Jersey, who was just killed this year, a few months ago, by Zionist IDF soldiers, and you'll see his name on my back. He was brutally murdered, and the U.S. administration did nothing about that.
I'm really glad you brought up what happened to this young man in New Jersey. Trump, no American official has said anything about this murder. This was an American citizen. So it just goes to show that at the end of the day, it's the racism, it's the hatred, it's so many elements in here. It's like the fact that this young man who's from the U.S. doesn't matter at all to the U.S. government and to the Israeli government, just another number. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more about your thoughts on the overall genocide. Some people are still not calling this a genocide, but how can that be the case when we have thousands of children who are starving right now? And as a parent, it must be really difficult to see these kids. It must be really difficult to see, even cousins, family members who are going through this because they're people just like us. So I'd love your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, this all goes against the hypocrisy that Trump and the rest of Americans want to claim that they're America first. That's complete bullshit. And we're not afraid to say it. It's Israel first. They're deep in American politics. They're deep in American pockets, and they're controlling politicians and really showing that these politicians don't care about Americans. There's dozens of American Palestinians being killed this year alone, and not only in Gaza, in the West Bank. And not a single word, not a single person has been arrested. And it shows that this isn't America first, right? These are Americans with American citizenship. One of them. Just from Florida, went to my neighboring town in Al-Ghayr, in Mezra Sharqiya, and he was there on vacation as an American, and he was killed, and nothing was done against him.
Absolutely horrific and really important. We keep paying attention to these stories. Any last words?
Free Palestine, and we know we're going to see it this year.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Love that energy. Love that optimism. It's so true and so important. If we stay steadfast, we remain in the streets, we take seriously the fight that we are a part of, we can see a free Palestine, and holding on to that hope is so very vital. But I want to show you more. We're moving through the contingents. That was the children's contingent. Happy to have spoken to some parents. Now we have some Orthodox Jewish members here who often come out and protest. It's really, I think a lot of people find a lot of inspiration to see them out. So many Jewish people, not just this group, but also many, many, many young Jewish people have been standing out and speaking out against the apartheid regime, against the genocide. I think we've seen a massive breaking, especially of Jewish youth in the United States, with the status quo that they were raised with. So I think that brings a lot of people a sense of hope that, like we've said many, many times, it's not about anti-Semitism. It's about recognizing that the state of Israel is a Zionist state, a specific ideology which has the intention, ever since it was founded, to colonize the entirety of Palestine. And we see that happening now with this starvation campaign. So absolutely, without a doubt, it's important, like the father who we spoke with earlier shared, to know the history and to hold on to the history and to teach our children the history, because if we teach our children the history, we keep it alive. So definitely take a look at all of what's going on here. We're not even 1/3 of the way through the protest, so we're trying to get a chance to talk to everyone we can.
Palestine will be free. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
Okay, looks like they're all holding hands. A really powerful sign. I mean, speaking to the children's contingent, it's good to see so many young kids. I mean, there's a young kid here with a keffiyeh. Very powerful thing to see, for sure. I know the next contingent, we've got some people here from all different organizations coming out today. We have some groups here that are coming out here, that are artists, that are part of all different kinds of coalitions. So definitely, without a doubt, it's been a really powerful display of the kinds of people that are in this action today. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are in New York City right now. This is one of several regional protests all around the United States for Gaza, to say stop starving Gaza. For those of you who have not been following, the famine situation in Gaza is at a fever pitch. It is particularly bad in a way that I think, because of, like we mentioned, the loss of many journalists, we're not exactly always seeing. I mean, the media is covering it, but in the United States, the journalists are covering it rather, but the corporate media in the United States would rather Palestine get off the front pages. So the situation is very dire. Like we mentioned earlier, 40% of breastfeeding mothers are extremely malnutrition. There's no formula in Gaza. It doesn't get through the aid. Nobody can access it. It's like $105 for what is essentially $10 of formula. It's a really horrible situation. So, we're talking about widespread death from starvation as it continues to worsen. I know in May, 6,500 children, this is the WHO's statistics, 6,500 children were admitted, or they're brought into outpatient treatment and hospitals in Gaza for malnutrition, many of them for extreme starvation. In July, that's 5,000 children. So the trend is continuing that every single month, thousands of kids. Those are the kids that are getting help, who are actually getting help. There are many children who are not, in fact, getting that help. Many who are dying. And the other kind of element, too, of this famine, it isn't just that people aren't eating. It's also that we have a situation where when people leave their homes to get food, they're being shot at, they're being killed. I mean, it was something like 1,060 people were shot at, injured in Gaza for just trying to get access to food. So, I mean, it's a really horrific choice that people in Gaza have to make right now, whether or not you eat. Eating versus being able to actually go and get the food. And a lot of times they're sending their teenage young children to be able, they're sending their teenage children to go get the food because they're the only able-bodied members of the family. So, insult to injury there. So we're now by the artist contingent. And so we're very excited to be joined by Mariah Parker, artist, incredible, not Mariah Parker, my apologies. Like Carsey Blanton. Always mixing up some of these great artists. But Carsey Blanton, happy to have her here with us to share more about what it means to be an artist in this current moment. I mean, I've been really moved by the work of Artists Against Apartheid, to see people take their art, their expression, their professions, and say, as artists, it's our necessity to speak out for things we believe in. So I'd love to hear from your perspective, why are you here today, and why is it so important for artists to speak out?
Well, you said it so beautifully, and you know what? It feels so good to dedicate your work, which is a gift, to something bigger than yourself and bigger than just commodity capitalism. It's no fun to make commodities for capitalism, and it doesn't feel good, and it doesn't feel like we're using our gift. And so I think I'm not alone when I say with Artists Against Apartheid, we have a lot of people. I think now it's like 18 or 20,000 people who have dedicated their work to the struggle for Palestinian liberation. And you know what? It just feels so GD good. It feels really good. And we all feel like we're out here together and we're making beautiful music for a reason.
Absolutely. I love that. I think that art really brings us to that next level of hope and optimism and holding on to the humanity of everything that we're fighting for here. And I think that the visuals we see and these contingents are so stunning and so moving. And I'm curious, as a musician, your perspective on how music in particular, how people can use music and use that type of expression to talk about the genocide and to express themselves.
Well, first of all, the Artists Against Apartheid chanting section is very lit right now, and it's behind us, and you can tell we've been grooving for this whole protest. And I think when people see us walk by and they hear that we're making beautiful music together, they can feel that we're organized. It feels like collective action. As opposed to like when you go to a protest and nobody knows how to chant and nobody knows how to clap, and you're like, these people are never going to free Palestine at this rate. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely part of it. And I also think I try to make part of my work to uplift the movement. As the movement grows and changes, I try to bring my work with the movement and uplift what's happening. It's such an exciting thing that's happening in our movement right now. So it's a very exciting time to be an artist.
Definitely. I know this year at Coachella, we saw so many artists just start to speak out. I mean, it's not a surprise from some of the Irish artists, like Hosier, who actually spoke out recently in Seattle, called for statehood for Palestine, because that's also what Ireland called for. Very powerful, very moving stuff. But I think that we've seen in the last year the kind of growing chorus from artists saying, it is my responsibility to say something. So what's your message to other artists who have not yet spoken out or who are thinking about it?
I would say if you haven't gotten pushback, that you're not speaking out enough, and a lot of people are afraid of any pushback at all. They imagine it will ruin their careers, but a lot of that is self-censorship. It won't actually ruin your career. You're stopping yourself in the fear that you might get pushback. And I say at least push until you get some pushback.
Very real, very real. So thank you so much, Karsi. Any last words?
Free Palestine.
Oh, absolutely. There it is. Free Palestine. I love what you said. If you got to push back, it's not going to end your career as an artist now. In fact, it might win you a lot of more followers and a lot of more respect in this political moment, where I think, at the beginning of this fight, we were the people that supported Palestine. The Free Palestine movement was a much smaller part of the U.S. population, but now it's exploded. I mean, it's undeniable that this is the majority consensus opinion in the United States, that this is horrific, what is going on in Palestine, and something must be said. So definitely want to see more artists speak out. Agree that there's a kind of a beauty in the way that artists approach how we talk about liberation and how we fight for liberation in all new ways. So definitely want to leave you to the crowd for a minute to be able to check out some of what's going on. All right, yeah, we're starting to see some of the artist contingents really come forward. Great. So we're going to be joined now by a veteran we found in the crowd. I think veterans is another one that's a really important part of what we are trying to do in terms of uplifting new voices. I mean, I think the veterans who've stood up for Palestine have been particularly powerful with their voices, because in the U.S. there's such a lionization of support the troops, but don't support the troops when they actually speak out against the war. So I love your shirt. Really, really powerful stuff. As a veteran, I'd love for you to share why you're out here today.
Well, I mean, we're witnessing what's worse than the Holocaust. I mean, the U.S. is funding it. The U.S. is arming it. Our politicians are failing to do anything about it. If anything, they're accelerating it and just providing cover. It's a travesty. It's insane. We need this to end.
Absolutely. It's really powerful for you to share that. I think a lot of people around the country, they see the moral authority of veterans. Could you share more about kind of what it meant, or your kind of process as somebody who had served in the military, about how you came to the perspective to be against the war?
Well, I drank the Kool-Aid, right, growing up, and then what I saw on my phone happening in Gaza versus what was being said on the news is what destroyed the reality that I thought I knew. And from there, it was just studying history and learning and educating myself and finding other groups like Veterans About Face, JVP, all these other groups out there fighting all this and just trying to educate, activate, get out there, you know?
Definitely. I mean, I think we saw a lot of activation. I remember About Face as an organization from when Aaron Bushnell self-immolated against the war. I think a lot of veterans or military members felt really compelled to really say what's going on here, to pay attention. So I think moments like those, while they're profoundly sad, you know, they make this impact that really lasts and changes consciousness forever. So I'm curious, you know, what would you want to say to other people who are veterans or currently serving about how to pay attention in this moment and how to start to undrink the Kool-Aid and kind of take the wool out of their eyes, so to speak?
Yeah, just know that you're not immune to propaganda. Our society, media, news is owned by like 6 dudes, right? So like, you're not immune to propaganda. I believed it, I drank it, undrink it, educate yourself. Realize you're just a tool for imperialism. You're the boot on the necks of everyone around the world. Even here, you're seeing fascism rise because capitalism is failing. There's a better system. We need it. Wake up. This is what you're doing. I turn my back on empire. You can too. It's hard at first, but it only gets easier as you start learning. So yeah, get out there.
Absolutely. You know, if I wasn't doing this when I was younger, my family is a big military family. I got pushed to be in the Marines like my whole life. I really thought about it. It was the Iraq War that really changed my mind and my perspective why I'm like not going to do that. And so I think that, you know, to a lot of people that say, why bother? Who cares? You know, there's a huge section of the population that gets drafted into the military because it's all we have. You know, it's the only way to go to college. It's the only way your family gets an opportunity at all. And that's just more exploitation of poor people in the United States. And I think that we need to make sure that we are reaching everybody, and especially these young people who are being preyed on by the military, to say that they can stand up, they can make a difference, and the voices of veterans matter. So any last words from you?
I'm nobody, really. I don't know why we venerate veterans. I'm just another average Joe like you. Just wake up, see what's really happening. Be a part of the solution. Don't be a part of the problem.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. You know, such an important interview. I really do always love speaking with veterans. I think it's easy to dismiss and say, well, you know, people drank the Kool-Aid, that's it for them. But that has not been the case. And veterans have been some of the strongest voices speaking out against the war that really capture the moral authority of the country, especially for those who put veterans on a pedestal as to what this young man just shared with us. You know, this idea that we're going to put them on a pedestal above everybody else. That makes it even more important for them to be the ones to speak out. I think the anti-war movement, you know, one of the things harken back to Vietnam, it's been on my mind a lot for many reasons, but one of the things that I found really moving, you know, I had visited Vietnam a few years ago. I'm Vietnamese, and it's definitely a powerful thing. But in one of the museums about the American War, as they call it, there was a whole exhibit, a beautiful exhibit, that was dedicated to all of the kind of veterans in the United States or active servicemen or people who refused the draft, just saying how much it meant to them to see that. And there are photos I actually have never seen on Google in the U.S., so that you have to look really, really hard for and know exactly what to look for to find them. But there are photos of these veterans who won medals in Vietnam, and they left all their medals in front of the Washington Monument and in front of in like all these different like famous areas in D.C., and it was just covered with medals. And I think that it's really important to see, because when people who are in the military actively or veterans speak out, it really makes it a lot more difficult for empire to do what it wants to do. And that was certainly the case for Vietnam. So many of the people in Vietnam, the one reason the U.S. empire doesn't share this, one of the reasons why they could not continue with the war and why the U.S. lost the war was certainly because so many people refused to fight, or they defected, and also just refused orders from their top dogs. Some of them even shot back at their officers. So, that kind of discord inside of a military apparatus really shows just that, you can't continue forward with war. And I feel that way about recently, too. The Trump's attempt to launch a war on Iran wasn't successful, and it wasn't because the people of the U.S., if there's one thing that has remained in the consciousness of regular working class people in the United States, it has been the commitment to anti-war principles and perspectives and ideas. I mean, people were immediately like, don't send me to war, I'm not going. And I think that we owe that to the generation before us for teaching us that. I'm big on intergenerational connections, and I think that is certainly one of them. And I feel very inspired even today. All these people are here. So many people in the U.S. stand against this genocide and against war in the Middle East because we saw it for ourselves. For millennials, we saw it for ourselves. And for younger people, too, they saw the consequences. And I think that it doesn't take a whole lot to recognize just how important it is to stand up and say no, and that we, the people in the U.S., have the power to really stop these wars if we come together and if we fight for it. So definitely want to turn you back over to the crowd. Don't got to hear me rant about Vietnam anymore, but I think those connections are always powerful in my mind. Okay, the march is headed to Trump Tower, so we're going to try to get up to the front here and really get a chance to show that moment when the march meets Trump Towers. I mean, I think it's really important now that people bring this fight and connect all of the dots here. You know, this is a message to Trump and the Trump administration and all the people that supposedly represent us, which the vast majority of us would never agree with at all, in terms of Trump. But regardless, I think that it's really important that we bring this fight right to the symbolic place in New York, anyways, of Trump. So some really great chanting happening over here as we make our way up to the front. So, we're making our way over here to Mahmud Khalil and Grant Minor. Hello, Mahmud Khalil is with us. Grant Minor also happens to be here too. Wanted to get a chance to chat with you a little bit here for our Breakthrough News stream. I loved your comments earlier. I think they were really important in this moment right now, especially from you, somebody who's inspired many, many, many people all across the U.S. to continue this fight. So I'd love to hear from you. What are your words for people that are watching right now across the country who are maybe feeling a little bit demoralized? They're not sure where to...
And as I said, like Israel's main problem is the Palestinian existence, is our existence as people. Their problem is not like Hamas or any resistance. They don't want the Palestinians to exist. That's why now they're continuing with their killing of Palestinian journalists, with anyone who dares to show their crimes to the world. That's why I would continue to show up for Palestine, because this is the minimum we could do. Literally, this is like, we're not doing anything. We're just marching and talking. We're not taking any risks. While like Palestinians in Gaza and across Palestine, they are being targeted. They're being killed. They're being stopped on checkpoints and starved to death. That's why it's so important that we show up. Because also by targeting me, by targeting other students, they wanted to make an example out of us. They wanted to just chill speech across the country, to show that if you stand up for Palestine, we can detain you, we can shove you and put you in prison. However, this will not succeed. You can see the thousands of people around us who showed up for Palestine, who will continue to show up for Palestine until liberation.
Absolutely. And my other question for you here, as the student movement, we're in the summer right now, so students are not in session, but come September, we're going to see students come back to school. What's your message to the student movement about where we go from here, about both the situation in Palestine, but also the situation here for building the student movement in the United States?
I know that the exhaustion is real. I know that the fear is real. I know that these institutions, they have implemented all these draconian and fascist rules against these students to actually curb this movement. But they will not succeed. As I said, this movement is a movement for liberation, a movement for justice, a movement for dignity for all Palestinians. And the students in general are the moral compass in this country. That was the case back in the 60s during the Vietnam War, during the apartheid, the movement against apartheid South Africa, and it would continue until now to be the case. And we will remember these students who stood up, and they literally risked their lives, they risked their futures, they risked their degrees just to stand up for Palestine. This is where I get my inspiration. I get my inspiration from those young students who refuse to remain silent in the face of the oppression and suppression that they are facing now in this country.
Certainly, it's been a watershed moment. If elite institutions like Columbia University, if the students there can say no to this genocide, it says a lot about in the next 5 to 10 years where popular opinion will be, whether or not, when we see the future unfold, we're going to see so many of these people go into all different kinds of jobs and all different positions and carry with them what they've learned. So I think the struggle at Columbia has inspired people all around the United States, but really all around the globe. So any last words from you, Mahmoud?
The liberation is near. We just need to continue to actually push and actually like work toward liberation together, because even if this genocide ends tomorrow, we need to continue, because the occupation continues, because the colonization continues, and we need to actually, it's a long fight, but we're winning. I believe we are winning. The fact that all the establishment in the United States are now literally scrambling just to contain this movement, to curb this movement, is a testament to the strength of the Palestine liberation movement in this country.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So absolutely, so inspiring to hear from the students at Columbia, you know, their struggle, everything that they have fought for. It really did spread around the world. I mean, I think one of the things that really, during the encampments, the students all across the country, what it really brought me to tears was seeing the students in to people in Palestine, but it brings hope to people all around the globe that if in the center of empire, the center of U.S. imperialism, if people here reject the Trump agenda and reject the U.S.'s war crimes, then they too will have a chance to continue to fight. So we're making our way, we're rushing to get to the front here at Trump Towers. All right, we're ready, trying to make our way to the front here so that way we can catch that shot right when we approach Trump Towers. So, yeah, you can walk like this to the side with me. Yeah. So we ran, so we're a little out of breath, but we made our way to the front here. Again, as we approach Trump Towers, I'm joined by Leanne from the People's Forum. As we approach Trump Towers, I want you to share more about why is this demonstration going to D.C. All of these things are all coming together. Thousands are in the streets here today. You know, what's our message to Trump?
Well, our message is that he is culpable for the genocide. He's, in fact, the #1 culpable figure for the genocide because and all financial aid to Israel, political cover, mass movement behind us, you can see it here. This represents really the true conscience of the people of the United States, and that's the message that we're trying to send. But, you know, last thing I'll say, our message, we're not trying to convince Trump of anything because we know who he is. What we're trying to do is send a message to the world. Trump has no legitimacy. He doesn't represent us. We stand with the Palestinian people, and we're going to continue building this movement, which is to end this genocide.
Absolutely. I mean, despite Project 2025 and Trump's threats and all of the right-wing's threats towards the movement for Palestine, there are still tens of thousands of people here in the streets today. And this is just one city of many. There are other regions all protesting at the same time because the situation is dire in Palestine. So I think that that's a testament, absolutely, to what you're saying. It's a testament to the fact that people are not going to be swayed. They're going to continue to fight. So, Leanne, my question here for you is to share a little bit more also, you know, about the overall... All right, we got a shot here of Trump Towers, the Palestinian flag waving very high right against Trump Towers, I think is a powerful statement of today's action. Okay, the organizers have set up a second rally point here to have their message be heard loud and clear.
Here, but he has to harass people like.
We are all Palestinians.
because our government is paying for this genocide.
Shame!
We're ending this march today outside of Trump International Hotel. Now why I'm here? Why I'm here? Because we need to remember who our enemies are. Our enemies are the ruling class. This administration is part of it. They are the ones carrying out a genocide in Gaza. They are the ones kidnapping our immigrants off the streets. They are the ones cutting Medicaid, cutting our healthcare, our benefits. It's on them. It's on them. And we have to remember that. Who feels angry about that? Who feels angry about that? We have to keep that with us for the next time we come out, and the next time, and the next time, until Palestine is free. So we're going to close here today, but this is just the start of another massive phase in this movement. And one of the ways that we're kicking it off is with the... It's from the 22nd to the... 29th to the 1st of... 29th of August to the 1st of September. Sorry, I'm getting a little hot. Has everybody here registered for the conference? I need it to be a little louder. I want everybody here to go home, find a flight, find a bus. There's buses going. Find a place to stay. We can help you. Come talk to us. And get yourself to the People's Conference for Palestine. You know, conferences are a historic part of our struggle. They're different than the types of conferences that the ruling class have, that are about how to keep us down, how to keep stealing from us. These conferences in the Palestine movement on the left, they're a moment for us to come together. These conferences are about action, and they require the collective of us taking your weekend for Palestine. And I know, we're gonna be out next weekend, right? And every single time we're called upon to take the streets and stand with our people in Gaza. So get home safe, everybody. Let's end it here with one last chant. And let's make it louder than the one we started with. Are we ready? Yes! We want justice, you say how? Starving Gaza now! We want justice, you say how? Lift the siege on Gaza now! Lift the siege on Gaza now! Stop starving Gaza now! Stop starving children now! Stop starving Gaza now! Stop starving Gaza now! Lift the siege on Gaza now! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!